Good morning, Tom.
Good
Hi,
morning, Beatrice. How are you?
good, and welcome to our listeners and our viewers to Coaches Unleashed, the show for everyday people that can achieve life-changing results through coaching. So welcome. So Tom, what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about purpose, the
Oh,
word that is thrown around a lot in mainstream media these days, which I think is a good thing, but something that maybe people hear about a lot and they're not quite sure what it means for them, and we can share our both of our ideas about what purpose is for us, and then how we've helped our clients to discover that purpose as well.
oh, okay, great. So have you had recently then clients that have reached out to you actually specifically asking you to help them with find their sense of purpose? Is that how it works?
I don't think it's ever been specifically that they come and say, I need to find my purpose. In fact,
Mm,
I've never heard anyone say that. But what I do have is clarity in what someone wants from life in the context of their career, or the career in the context of their life, more so probably. Um, that I do a lot of. Um, I definitely, and again, it's that interesting dynamic. We touched on it before with coaching, of what people come to us wanting and what do they need. And I think the clarity piece definitely aids around purpose. And I think when people find a purpose or discover it, or it really helps put everything else into perspective, I think, and changes a lot of the dynamic, I think, in what people do. And that's something I'd say from my own personal life as well. When you have that kind of, I understand what I'm doing here. I get fulfillment from it. It excites me. It just changes everything around life more widely as well, I think.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that I get people coming to me. They don't actually say, I want to find my purpose, but they do come sort of a bit confused as to what they're doing with their life and where they want to go. And so I think that's when I understand that I need to put them through a process of sort of self-discovery and vision creation and goal setting and mind shifting. So that takes a few weeks, but I find that like guiding people through a process of just reconnecting with their values and their passions and their strengths and their skills, and this introspection really helps gain clarity about what
Mhm.
it is that they truly care about and what they're really excellent at, what gives them energy. I find that that's a good
Yeah.
starting point.
What is that self-discovery, that process that you use?
Mhm. Yeah. And at what age, around what time of one's career, what age do people start to feel a need for discovering or being able to articulate their their purpose?
I actually listened to a podcast this morning. It was very interesting, and it's very relevant to this, around when people hit a 9 in their lives. So it's 29 or a 19 or a 39, 49.
Mm,
Suddenly they start thinking about, what am I doing? The crisis, the midlife, the quarter life, whatever it is. And
yeah.
it was interesting seeing that. And being 29 myself, it struck me, and I'm going through this purpose journey myself as well. I was like, okay, I've been saying it's not a big deal, but maybe deep down it is. So yeah, I think at any point when people are either stuck through something, then maybe things are out of tune and not quite, you know, in line with what they've been doing, then I think a sense of looking for purpose might come in. And then whenever we hit these life moments, maybe. So I wouldn't say it's any particular age, but more of a life stage, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, and I find that also purpose is, there's a sort of three myths that I would say about purpose. And the first is that purpose is something out there waiting to be discovered.
Mm,
Whilst I think that really purpose is something that sort of takes time to find, and you need to sort of understand what, look for it, and kind of build it as well, build it yourself, this a sense of purpose as well. The other thing I find is that people think, well, I find my sense of purpose, it's out there, boom, and then I'll know exactly what that thing is. But again, I think it takes constant work to actually, it's a constant process of forming and sort of repackaging your sense of purpose.
mhm.
And it can change over time. So as you said, maybe you were very clear what your sense of purpose was up until a week ago, and then suddenly kind of that's not enough for you, or you want to change direction, and that's absolutely fine. And then it's the whole process of rediscovery happens again. So it's a continuous process. And
Mhm.
it's not, I think also it's not easy. It doesn't necessarily make things easier, finding a sense of purpose, but I think it does make things more clear in terms of how you are using your time and your energy and your actions and behaviors, and being able to analyze whether they are coherent with your sense of purpose.
I think what you said there around it changes is really important as well for people to realize. I think that's probably where a lot of sense of unfulfillment or lost direction maybe comes from as well, where people, you're kind of attaching what was your purpose maybe 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago, and it's not that anymore. And what's going on? This isn't who I am, but that it's evolved. And I think the self-awareness to recognize that important. I mean, what I wanted from a career 5 years ago is completely different to what I want from it now. And I'm sure you've experienced the same over your lifetime as well. It's kind of things change and you go with that, and making sure that it's not a once and done exercise. Like
Absolutely.
it's evolving all
Mm,
the time, sometimes really quickly.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that this is, about it links very well with the growth mindset and the mindset shift that we need to do in order to overcome maybe any limiting beliefs or any sort of status quo that we think we need to possibly have in our life. I mean, yourself, you're about to make some major changes in your life, and
Yeah,
I think that's a whole part of growing into your new self, and exploring and being open to knowing that you're not going to have all the answers, but that's the beauty of life. It's kind of the process of discovering what feels good.
definitely. And it also feels a bit conflicting at the same time, because you're kind of still living the life that you're dropping away
Mm,
as the new life is building. So you've kind of got this, I don't really, I call it limbo, where you're kind of in this limbo purpose space where you can see the future is good, but the bit you're doing now is what you have been doing before, but it's not quite fulfilling in whatever it is now, because you're looking ahead to the new bright and
mm.
shiny thing. So I guess it's maybe quite a more a new unique situation, but I'm
Sounds
sure
like
others.
managing transitions. It's sort of managing
Mm,
this transitional period where exactly you feel like you're in limbo because you're still tying up loose ends, or understanding what it is from your previous life that you want to bring into your new life. And if I think, for
yeah,
example, my shift to full-time training and facilitation and coaching, um I didn't just wake up one day and say, right, I want to be a coach and a trainer, a facilitator. It was a process where I thought, okay, I want to change something. I want to change my lifestyle. I don't want to be, working a corporate job anymore, on calls every day, with very, very long meetings, not having clarity on what it is that what I need to be doing, and how more than what I need to be doing, more the impact that I can have as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I thought, well, how can I use everything that I've been through and all my experience and leverage the, my years as a manager and then a leader, and use that going forward. And that's where I thought, okay, maybe coaching is something that I was doing at the time. And my coach made me think about, okay, why don't you start thinking about what it is that you love to do, what you're good at, what gives you energy? And I made a list, and I actually have my coaches do this as well. A really nice exercise where you make a list. You can use Post-its, or you can do it also digitally, whatever suits you. But you make a list of all the things that you do, and then you divide it up between the things that you love to do, really like to do, and the things that you know how to do but you don't like to do so much. And then that already brings you a bit of clarity to think, okay, so how can I craft my own job out of everything that I love to do, and do some research on that as well if need be. And then you can also, I think, recraft your CV to fit more the type of things that you want to be doing, so that when you reposition yourself on the job market, or you want to change jobs, you attract what you're looking for, and it's clearly stated in the CV.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that also helps with the way you show up when you go for interviews and you present yourself, because you know deep down what it is that's important to you, what your priorities are, what drives you. And I think that has a whole different energy to it when you actually presenting yourselves at the interview stage.
I've been thinking about this myself, because obviously I'm moving away, and I'm still deciding exactly what the future holds from a work perspective. And I know coaching will be part of that, but I also think there'll be other types of roles mixed in as we go. So I've been thinking, again, like I help my clients do around building their CVs, is now doing that for myself. And I've actually had the idea now, and it linked quite nicely with what you're talking about, is instead of having a CV, is to have a portfolio, and having a heading to I view it as almost a few different boxes, but this is my mission in what I do and how I want to impact people and help people. I want to help them grow and develop, and I'm an educator and all of that kind of stuff as a heading to my purpose. And then these are the types of work that I do, and I see it almost as four boxes. There's coaching, there's training, there's building people teams, and helping others build people teams as well. All that kind of stuff there is this is what I do, and then these are all the experiences I have beneath that showcase that. But instead of leading with these are the jobs, these are the skills I have, the type of work that I do and love doing and have impact. And I think it's quite a nice and quite a fulfilling way to actually approach a job search then as well, because you're not tying your identity to a job title from the past, or it puts less emphasis on, oh, I'm a head of this, or I'm a senior this, or whatever. It's that's not you. You are all these other things within that, but it helps, I think, bring and as a recruiter, I would love to see that. I think it's much more engaging and interesting way of seeing someone and what they do. So I'm going to take that on, and I'll see how it goes.
Okay. Let us know. Yeah, I mean, it's a process that's also fun to redo on yourself. And I ask myself quite often, in order to up my game as a coach, a trainer, and a facilitator, what really drives me. And I actually have written my purpose out. So I did this exercise when I was doing the Chief Happiness Officer certification, which is a really nice exercise where You you find out what your values are, and I think our viewers and our listeners will need to go back probably to previous episodes to find out how to do that, or drop us a line. But once you know what your values are, you get your hand and you put it on a piece of paper, you draw the outline of your hand, and then you draw on each of the fingers your main values. And then where the palm of the hand is, you would start to you'd actually put your purpose. And the way you get to your purpose is you start thinking, you take a bit of moment for yourself, and you start thinking, why is it that I wake up every morning? And why do I exist? What do I live for? What do I breathe for? What makes me feel alive? And when I close my eyes at nighttime, what gives me a real sense of satisfaction, of accomplishment? And you start to, that will help you to start thinking about what your purpose can be. And then you write down sort of your purpose, and then you start to think about how you can reach your purpose, because then you have to understand, okay, how am I going to reach my purpose? And then why you want to reach your purpose. There's also a why of the purpose. And that I think this brings a lot of clarity, and you can, I refer to it all the time to remind myself why it is that I decided to switch to this new job, which is really helping other people flourish. And why do I want to help other people flourish? It's because, having gone through myself a process of feeling that I wasn't flourishing enough, I understand that, what it feels like, and the energy shift in being able to flourish. And so that's what I do. I help people essentially self-actualize through coaching, mentoring, positive leadership training, etc. And why do I do it? Is because ultimately I do believe that if people reach their full potential, the world would be a better place. Because if everybody was to reach their full potential, in obviously a positive way, I think always in a positive, constructive way, the world would be a better place. Yeah.
Beautiful. And to add to that as well, what I've noticed in clients, certainly, and this is important, I think, for a lot of people, is it doesn't need to be in a work context purely as well. Purpose. It's nice to have a job that you love to wake up to, and have really fulfilling, and that to be really fulfilling for you, but that's not everyone as well. And I think a lot of people I see, especially when people hit parenthood, it's having spending time with the kids is the purpose, or loads of other things. Living a life aligned to whatever you want to do is more important, and the career can help fulfill that as well. There's an exercise that I do with my clients called the work-life harmony quadrant. So again, it's an idea that I picked up from someone around this concept of work-life harmony rather than balance. And you have 4 quadrants. You have your career, you have your self, you have home, your families and friends, all that kind of stuff, and then community as well. So the groups of people you're part of, that could be global, that could be local, whatever. And you just write down all the things that are really important to you in each of these 4 areas. And that's, I normally find, is a really nice exercise to help people spot what's really important deep down, and also link where there's often a lot of linkage between them, and sometimes there's a bit of conflict between them as well, which might help people understand why they're not finding that fulfillment somehow as well. So I often start off a coaching journey with that exercise. But it's
work-life
nice
harmony. I like that. It makes me think of this other term that I've heard lately, which is work-life integration.
Okay.
Again, because work-life balance, people find it brings quite a bit of anxiety because nobody's quite able to do it.
Yeah.
Whilst the integration is more achievable. And this is a great exercise, Tom, this working on the 4 quadrants, the career, the self, the home, and the community. And you were saying, you know, it helps you to understand. You write down what's important to you, spot what's really important, any links and potential conflicts. It's really good.
Yeah.
And I also loved what you said before about how purpose doesn't necessarily need to be linked to professional life, even though if it is linked, it makes everything so much easier. But I believe that you're absolutely right. I mean, purpose can be articulated in the different areas of our life. And it's absolutely fine to have a job, a secure job, in order to be able to fulfill your purpose outside of that job, you know, in your private life. Absolutely. As long as it works for you and it, you know, and absolutely that's fine. And also, you know, we help people, I think, find that sense of fulfillment, whether it's in their personal life or professional life. I always believe that if you're able to find some alignment between your personal values and your professional values, you're less, let's say less energy leakage. But again, it's a very personal decision.
It is, and I think what we touched on earlier around how it changes and evolves is important to that as well. And again, for say like amateur athletes, that kind of thing, or people who have a goal of some sort of athletic achievement or a marathon, or for me in my own life, it's climbing. Like, and I spent a lot of time 2 years ago probably where I was just obsessed by climbing harder and harder and harder. And for me, taking a back step in other areas and just working in a good job, earning good money. I enjoyed the job. I still enjoyed it. And it was fulfilling me, but it wasn't my purpose. It wasn't like I love this thing. This is what I want to do every day of my life. But it was fulfilling another purpose. It was giving me the money and the flexibility to be able to spend every single minute outside of work climbing or training or going on trips and all this kind of stuff. So I think having purposes that can change as well as the seasons change or as your life evolves, you know, is important as well. And for me now, I'm probably shifting more towards a career-based purpose where coaching is creeping more into the other aspects of life, and this thing, this movement in me of, oh, I really enjoy this. I want to follow this. I want to see where it leads me, and now that fulfills me. So they can change and evolve, and
yeah. But they're a great anchor to have in order to then be able to set some goals, right? I think also, and to translate the vision and into actionable goals. And I think that's also where a coach comes in, is helping our coaches break down these goals into more manageable and pieces, and developing strategies to overcome all the obstacles that you will surely find on the way. But you know, understanding why you're doing it, I think helps to propel you forward.
Definitely, yeah.
Mm.
I found as well, just one more brief point on that as well, is when I found myself almost in a lack of fulfillment sometimes, when for whatever reason you're just not feeling it, it's not inspiring you to go to work or whatever, is to write down. And for me, writing works. For some people it might be speaking it out, whatever, but writing out all the reasons why I'm here, all the people who are impacted by me doing this, and all the people who are counting on you for that, and all the other things, the benefits of what you're doing, even though it might not fulfill you in that minute, all the other people who are getting benefit from what you do. And that's a really grounding exercise that goes, oh, actually, yeah, this might not be making me smile and enjoy with every keyboard tap that I do, but it's helping someone else in whatever they're doing at that moment in time as well.
Yeah, the
So
positive impact. The positive impact.
exactly.
That's a really great point. Yes. Absolutely. Love that. I think at the end of the day, most of us want to bring a positive impact into the world. Not all of us, but most of us want to do that. And those are the kind of people I like to work with, the ones that want to do something positive for the world, and for, for themselves, for their community, for their families, for their companies they work for, but in general, make a positive contribution.
Yeah. And world doesn't need to mean the global world. It could mean, like you said, the family,
Exactly.
community, whatever.
Exactly. Yes. So, Tom, just looking at the time, and I think we, I don't know, the chats with you always go so quickly.
So my listeners feel the same.
Yeah, I don't know. Anything, anyway, we were saying if anybody is still listening to this, how Tom and I, again, coming back to the sense of purpose, we're really doing this to help ourselves, I think, become better coaches, right? And to share and to connect, and if it helps even just one person out there, we're happy, aren't we, Tom?
We are indeed, definitely. And if you're listening and you're looking to discover purpose, I've got those exercises that I mentioned earlier, or that particular exercise is one of 5 that I have up on my LinkedIn profile. Actually, you can find my LinkedIn and you can click and you can download it, and it's all self-mapped out, so you can start working on that. And there's loads of other excellent exercises like Beatrice was going through as well, which find one that works for you.
Yeah. Okay. So are you ready to say goodbye to our viewers and our listeners, Tom?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Beatrice. I've enjoyed that once again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Look forward to the next one.
Okay. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.